Okay, we have a lot of distinguished guests with us today. A list so long that we won't go through the list extensively, but there's somebody here today that I want to make, just take some time out and make special mention of. Recently Sergeant Daniel Baker of Dixon was killed in the line of duty, and last week the person that killed him was apprehended by Trooper Kevin Birch, and he is a member of the 7th District Tennessee State Troopers right here in Lawrenceburg. And he is here with us today along with his captain, Wayne Sellers. Kevin, would you stand up? Is Kevin here? Let's give him a hand. Thank you, sir. Captain Sellers. We thank you for your efforts. It's an honor to be with you here today. Well, my job is to welcome everybody here, and this is one of those days in a community that sometimes happens once in a lifetime, and that's surely the case here. It's a day that will hopefully change the history of our community going forward. So let me give you just a little bit of background on how this started. The governor started it all. I'm going to blame him for it. But with the onset of the Tennessee Promise and the governor's Drive for 55, and I want to elaborate on those two initiatives, but the question for college switched from can I afford to go to college to where do I want to go to college? And so with the lack of a 4-year public education facility in southern middle Tennessee, a group of folks got together and said it's time. And so this college from the get-go has been a partnership, and it's designed to be a 2+2 institution. The first 2 years is with Columbia State Community College, and the final 2 years will be with one of the partnering colleges, either Tennessee Technological University, Middle Tennessee State University, or Martin Methodist College, depending on the major that you selected. And that list is not an extensive list either. So you may want to wonder, why do we pick this location? So the location committee or site selection committee spent many hours, and I believe there was 10 or 11 sites that were in consideration. And one of the first reasons is the proximity in the region. We have a region that we feel like this college will serve, and right here at the intersection of US 43 and US 64 would be a good proximity for easy transportation throughout the region. Also the accessibility, we got the corner lot here on both highways, and so when the facilities get built, there will be a new exit off of the bypass out there and a new entrance off of US 43, so the college will be very accessible. But the one thing that drove the site selection to this site was one day Dr. Oldham from Tennessee Technological University was having a conversation with the site selection team, and so they asked him if there's one thing you could change about Tennessee Tech, what would it be? And he said, I would like it to be visible from the road. And so that carried a lot of weight with the site selection committee, and we feel like this site right here is probably the most visible site in the region for the location of this property. So that will conclude my comments. I'll be the MC for today and introduce the folks to the stage, and with that I'll ask that our county executive, T.R. Williams, be next.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank a few folks for helping us with this event today. I want to thank the Purcell family for the tent and the chairs. Thank them for all the hard work that they've done getting that done for us. The Parks and Recreation, Lawrenceburg Fire Department for the work they've done putting up the flag out there, in Public Works. There is so many people that are involved in this project that I would be remiss to start naming folks because I would miss somebody. But it is single-handedly the greatest project that I've ever been a part of in Lawrence County. This is a game changer for all of us. It's not just in Lawrence County, But the reason it's named Southern Tennessee is because we didn't want it to be limited to Lawrence County. We wanted it to be a regional thing, and we wanted to benefit the counties that are around us as well as Lawrence County. And I think that that's going to happen. It's going to do that. And thanks to the governor for his program on the Tennessee Promise. That in itself has changed the whole thing for Tennessee. And I'm excited about what I think that this is going to bring for our kids in the future. And I hope I get to stick around long enough to watch the fruits of all of this. But I want to thank the city of Lawrenceburg and the city councilmen for their financial support in this project. I want to thank our county commissioners for their financial support in this. And they have been wonderful to work with on this. And so I just tip my hat to those guys today. And thank all of you for being here today and being a part of this. And let's build a college.
All right, also with us today is Senator Joey Hensley. Joey, you want to have a few remarks? Where is, there he is. You had a coat on earlier, I'm sorry. Sure.
Well, it's a privilege for me to be here today and to be a part of this and to see so many people involved. And it's just a testament to Lawrence County that this project has been a county project, county-wide project. So many businesses have been involved, and I'd like to thank my colleague Barry Dawes, who has worked so hard on this project. The governor and both mayors, all the mayors in the county have worked so hard, and everyone will be thanked as the mayor had done, but I won't add to all that. But the business people I want to thank, and seeing you here today and the crowd here, and it's just an honor for me to represent Lawrence County in the Senate and to join with Barry and David Byrd and some other representatives, Tim Tillis and Tim Wergo here. I mean, other representatives here. It's good to see them here. But I'm going to introduce Mike Krause. Mike Krause serves as Executive Director of the Tennessee Higher Education Commission, Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation. Prior to assuming this role, he served as the founding Executive Director of the Tennessee Promise and Drive to 55, where he coordinated the launch of the nation's first free community college program and an array of other programs focused on increasing state higher education attainment. During the Tennessee Promise launch, he led work to build an entirely new outreach structure for 74,000 high school students and prepare a financial aid pipeline to support disbursement of over $33 million annually. Previously, Mike served as Assistant Executive Director at the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. His work at the Commission focused on reducing the need for math remediation at community colleges, enhancing access to higher education via technology, and bridging the gap between K-12 and post-secondary education. Mike also served for 8 years in the U.S. Army and Tennessee Army National Guard, where he completed 3 combat tours with the 101st Airborne Division and was awarded the Bronze Star Medal during Operation Iraqi Freedom. An 8th generation Tennessean, Mike earned his bachelor's degree from Austin Peay State University and master's in public policy from Vanderbilt University. And myself, serving on the Education Committee, I get the privilege to work with Mike so often on issues that affect higher education. We're just so happy to be here. Mike Krause.
I think one of the points we want to make is we're about to break ground on a new building, but I think the reality is, and you've heard from our mayors, we're really breaking ground on new opportunity. And when you think back to when the governor launched the Drive to 55, you know, we really were addressing what I've come to think of as an opportunity emergency. We had employers that felt like they didn't have the talent pipeline they needed, and then we had Tennesseans that felt as if a high school diploma just wasn't serving them as well anymore. And so the result was the governor, our members of the General Assembly, Representative Byrd, Representative Wergo, Representative Doss, Senator Hensley, they've really set a new course for our state. And one of my favorite parts of my job is talking to other states, and never in my life would I have imagined that higher education in New York is calling us, saying, what are you all doing down there? And they are. And the reality is that story's about to be, what are you all doing in Lawrence County? I was selected and honored to be able to recognize our fellow higher education leaders that are here today. One of the points I want to make is that higher education has to do business differently. We must. And this center is going to be an example of that. If you think back to what our 18-year-old Tennessee Promise students want, or what our returning Reconnect students want, it's really about choices. All of our markets have been disrupted these days, from how you choose to watch a movie to how you buy goods online. People want more choices. This will be an entirely new higher education model. And you can start off with gen ed, as the mayor mentioned, at one of our TCATs or Columbia State. You can progress on and get a bachelor's degree at one of 3 universities, MTSU, Tennessee Tech, or Martin Methodist. And I'll just tell you, I think it's an example of how we can better serve our students. So recognizing those presidents, Dr. Phil Oldham from Tennessee Tech. It's good to not have Phil talking about their baseball team right now. For those of you that have been within a foot of Phil, you've heard they are in the College World Series right now, and they're doing really well. Robbie Shelton from Martin Methodist College. Dr. McPhee representing MTSU, Dr. Janet Smith, and then really want to thank Chancellor Tidings for being here. So if y'all haven't gotten a chance to meet Chancellor Flora Tidings, she's leading our whole system of community and technical colleges. And I think one of the charges she was given by her board is make sure that our community and technical colleges link up seamlessly. And I can just tell you she's doing that every day. And 2 of her TCAP presidents are here as well, Tony Creasy and Kelly Key Carroll. So as you can see, higher education's all in. 2 points of personal privilege. One, would be remiss to not mention our governor. When I'm talking to other states, the other question I always get is, man, to do anything like Tennessee Promise, we just don't have a governor like you do. And normally my response is, no, you don't. That is correct. But we are very grateful, Governor, for the way you've pushed us in Tennessee to aspire. And more than anything, what I've observed personally is do all of that with such character. And it has been an incredible example to our state and continues to be. My second point is for the members of the General Assembly, and I see Representative Tillis here. It's hard to convey how essential the legislature is in what we do. They are our board of directors in many ways. There is nothing we could do without these legislators. And in particular, this center, and I get to introduce him now, has a lot to do with the work of Representative Doss. Any project like this needs a tireless advocate, and you all know that Representative Doss is indeed tireless. When you begin working on a project with Representative Doss, I suggest you upgrade your texting plan. What we're going to do here in a minute will be something I promise you the rest of the state will look at. And a lot of that has to do with your vision, Representative Doss. What I would say in closing, this is not the biggest day. The biggest day really won't even be when we cut the ribbon. The biggest day will be in about 2 years when the first ever graduates of the Southern Middle Tennessee campus graduate. And I look forward to seeing you all back here then. And without further ado, I would like to ask Chairman Barry Doss to join us at the podium.
This is a very proud day for Lawrence County. I woke up this morning, I picked up the paper, and I see in the paper, and you think media always talks about bad news. I want to point out what our Lawrenceburg Advocate has on the front page. Ryan Weathers won National Gatorade Player of the Year from Lawrence County. Jim Cohn is on the front page collecting a check from Keystone for $5,000 for this college site. Johnny McDaniels was named Superintendent of the Year, our very own. And college groundbreaking is set for this coming Monday. Yeah, all right. Guys, this is, I know you guys are hot back in the back, out from under the tent, but this is a wonderful day for Lawrence County, and I couldn't help but think of all the people that have put in so many hours. Let me tell you, this is a major undertaking. And starting 6 years ago, there's been no less than 100 people working on this. I would love to recognize the mayors first, Mayor Keith Durham Jesse Turner from Loretta. Bubba Carter from St. Joe, Mayor Robin Cobb from Etheridge. We've got a lot of state representatives from all over the district here with us. Rick Tillis, David Byrd, Tim Wergo. I think there's some others out there. We've got Steve Allbrooks from Marsha Blackburn's office here with us. There's so many others we could recognize, but I tell you guys, I am so proud of what we've done. Judge Patty McGuire, I almost forgot. And there's other elected officials here. But I woke up this morning so full of pride that I can't come up with the words to say it. I'm proud of this team that we've assembled here in Lawrence County working together. I'm proud of being able to work with, and guys, I know there's 100 people that have worked tirelessly on this project. But there's a few that have spent their life on this project. Ryan Egley, where are you at? He's hiding. Ryan Egley. I think Ryan does everything that nobody else wants to do, and we all say, Ryan, you do it. Vic Pusser with Lawrenceburg Utilities. Raise your hand, Vic. We had to raise, Lawrence County gave $1.5 million, the city gave $1.5 million, the Lawrenceburg Utilities doing $1.5 million through infrastructure, and we had to raise $1.5 million private money. And everybody looked at me and said, Barry, there's no way Lawrence County can raise $1.5 million private money. Jonathan Edwards took on that duty. He's back in the back. He has worked tirelessly, and we have now exceeded $1.5 million. Through all the texting and phone calls and begging, I even got to be very dear friends with Stephen Smith, the Chief of Staff of the Governor. He's here with us today. So if you can't tell, I'm proud of Lawrence and Giles County. And I'm proud of all the people in this county that have stepped up and said, we can. I'm also proud that you've allowed me to serve you, and I take it seriously. I will serve you, and I will quit everything, and I will make sure that Lawrence and Giles County get whatever they need. But I'm also proud to have been, and feel rather lucky to have been sent to Nashville to serve under the greatest governor that's ever been in the state of Tennessee, Governor Bill Haslam, who just won a national award as the governor or educational governor of the year. So they're our very own. So he's told me in the past, don't tell my stump speech because I don't have anything else to say. I'm proud of what he's accomplished. I'm proud to have been a part of it. I'm proud of all of you. And with that, Governor Bill Haslam.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Edison. Thank you. Thank you. It is really, really good to be here. Although, Kraus, you're going to kill me for this, but we did put the money in the budget this year to make certain this happened after people had worked so hard. But we didn't actually put it in back when Barry first asked us. And Mike, because you can do the Barry Kraus imitation better than anybody I know, I want you to come up and tell the story about when you, you know how it is being the brave governor, when we didn't put in, and Barry's been a good friend, I said, we need to go tell him personally, and so I had Mike and Stephen, not being brave, I sent them. Why don't you all go tell Barry that you didn't get the money, and I'm going to let Mike act out what happened then.
Y'all remember those tours in Iraq that were mentioned? That might have been better than what I'm about to do. I'll just say this, and it actually is a testament to the persistence of these community leaders, but the first funding opportunity Lawrence County didn't receive. And the governor did say, y'all need to go down there and have a conversation with Chairman Doss because he'd been so involved. We walked into Chairman Doss's office, and as soon as we walked in, he said, we didn't get it, did we? And because he knew, obviously, we were coming down to tell him in person. We informed him he didn't get the grant, and then the moment my heart stopped beating is he said, well, that's fine, but when you tell these boys next door, you need to say it a different way. so that we could tell everybody in person. And then the most memorable moment of my state government career, we walk in and Chairman Doss sits down and says, "This is Mike Kraus from the governor's office, and he's glad to be here. Look, I committed a campaign finance issue, and I'm going to have to leave my seat." And the whole room stops breathing, and then he gives the best intro ever by saying, "Now, I had rather tell you that than what Mike's about to say." Go ahead, Mike.
I can't do the Barry Doss accent quite like Mike can, so I thought I'd let him tell the story. Hey, we're really here today because of three things. Number one, this is a real need. I see some of our economic community development folks. We were in a meeting just 2 hours ago with a company that's looking somewhere in Tennessee, and I keep saying all the time, but I don't think people really grasp it's true. The first and really only question they had for us is, can you get us the trained folks we need? That's just what every conversation comes back to. The really good news is we have record low unemployment rates in the state. The bad news is when companies come, they want to know, can we get the folks we need? And not just can we get warm bodies, but we have people that have the kind of training. So this is a real need that I think will, if people keep talking about transforming this part of the state has a lot going for it already, but this really is a game changer. That's number one, because it's a real need. Number two, I want to say this. It's extraordinary what you've seen from higher education leaders here, okay? You have really 4 institutions and TBR, all of whom have, instead of saying, well, I'll do it if, they just said, yes, we'll come be a part of that. It wasn't an if you'll do it my way, and it's extraordinary. I'd like to thank all of you for the, you're about to ruin higher ed's reputation for being turf conscious, but it has made a huge difference. And then the third thing I do want to pass on my congratulations and thanks to really all the local officials, to Barry, to Joey, to the other folks. It's extraordinary how everybody came together and said, this is a priority, this is what we want. And if you don't have the opportunity I do to work in all parts of the state, but that's not normally how it happens. But everybody said, this is what we want to do. The money was raised from different folks. It was contributed from different municipalities. It made it easier for us to say, well, this is kind of a no-brainer. This is what we should jump in. And I particularly want to take my hat off to Barry. Mike was kidding about upgrading your text plan, but he is a relentless bulldog for his whole district. And that's a nice way to put it. I couldn't help it. I got a phone call. I was on my way down here, and I missed it from Barry, so I called him back and said, Barry, man, I am so sorry. We've got a huge budget issue, and somehow the budget got messed up, and this got left out, and I don't know how you're going to explain that to everybody, just messing with him. And he said, and by the way, this is another reason we need the school. He said, Governor, I got 5,000 people down here. So obviously we're going to start with a math class. But I only kid him because I love him, and he is so committed to what happens here and to the better part of this whole region. So on behalf of the state, thank you for your tenacity, and thank you all. It's a big day for this region, but it's a big day for the state as well. Thanks so much.
Governor, thank you for those remarks. I don't want to leave out the folks that served on all the various committees, and I'm not going to recognize you individually, but if you're here and you serve on one of the committees that brought this to this point today, would you please raise your hand, whether you're on the site selection committee, the fundraising committee, or the governance committee. There's a lot of committee members here. Look around. Let's give those folks a hand. I'll tell another story about Barry Doss. Unless you're the governor of the state of Tennessee, you can't get a hold of him. So we had to put somebody in charge of all these committees, and somebody that everybody else from the state could contact and get a hold of now that we have architects on duty. And so as a committee, we got together and we selected one of our own. And he is here with us on stage today. He is Jim Cone. Jim is our chairman of the board. Jim, come up and have a few words.
I didn't mention, and I wanted to say something about Jim, but I didn't mention that when we had those 11 sites, trying to narrow it down to one, Blake Lay took that on himself, and Blake took a lot of criticism because 10 other people got mad. That's why we chose Blake to choose that, but Blake worked tirelessly. But guys, we had 20 committees. Somebody had to be the quarterback, and somebody had to make sure that each one of our committees done everything that needed to be done. And we chose Jim Cone, and Jim has been a quarterback, and he has done everything. He's made us mad, he's kicked us, he's done everything and made us do what we need to do. So Jim.
Thanks, Barry. I am the one that called everybody on Monday morning. And some of them made happy, some of them made mad. But we got where we are today, and which is, this truly is the vision of a committee of a whole bunch of folks in this county that have been together for 5 or 6 years. And this is the vision that we're looking at right now that's becoming a reality right here in front of us. First of all, I'd really like to thank again all our dignitaries, the governor, all our partners in education here, beginning again in Lawrence County. I'd especially like to thank the committees that worked so hard to get us where we are today. And the biggest thank you goes out to those folks in Lawrence County that have stepped up and said, yes, we can make this happen. Not only with work, but with the funds that we're going to need to make it continue and grow and go. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be one of the biggest events that's happened here in the last 50 or 60 years. I firmly believe that. And thank each and every one of you for being here today. The attendance is just overwhelming, and it's amazing. And with that, I'd like to say thanks again for everybody for being here. I'd like for the delegates on stage to step off this way and get right over here in our area where we can grab a shovel and let's break the ground. And all the crowd, if you could, get back behind the diggers quickly so we can get some pictures right quick and get everybody moving along. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you very much.
All right, everybody get them a shovel full of dirt. Three, two, one. We got 180. 3, 2, 1, go! Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, Matt. You know the number. The square. I'd love to have you down the square, but get out. Look me up when you come to campus. The square project. You serve me here. Great to be here. Look forward to speaking. Very good. Stanley. Very good. Pardon me.